This is a vervet monkey, a small primate native to southern Africa. At first glance, they may look cute and cuddly, but ask any farmer that has to deal with their mischievous habits on a daily basis, and they will tell you that their criminal record tells a slightly different story. Vervet monkeys are the grey menace of Africa, raiding crops, damaging infrastructure, and reducing bird populations by eating their eggs. In small numbers, they may just be a slight inconvenience, but here in the vast rolling hills of the Eastern Cape, they can cause some serious damage to commercial farms and therefore can legally be hunted all year round with no bag limit. This is of course easier said than done. Monkeys are incredibly smart and know exactly how to sneak away from danger, but with the right equipment and the right skill set, it is possible to make a dent in their numbers. We've been using a combination of quiet air rifles and flat shooting centerfires to control their numbers over the past few years, and we're ready to go once again as we find ourselves waking up to beautiful weather and just itching to get some trigger time.
I can hear monkeys chattering probably a few hundred meters that way. It's the same troop that has evaded us over the last few days, and we want to make sure we get one of those down before we end this episode. So the day is young, there's a lot to do. Let's go get some monkeys.
We need to be ready with both the airgun and the centerfire, so we make sure that the magazines are loaded up and air tanks are full before moving slowly towards the commotion and preparing for action.
So we've come out to a little lookout spot here where we heard the monkeys this morning. The camp is sort of maybe 800 to 1,000 meters that way, and we're hearing monkeys from this riverbed. We did see a bird of prey that looks a lot like a monkey, but when you take a closer look through binoculars or a scope, you can see, yeah, unfortunately it's not a monkey. But we'll just wait and be patient and hopefully get a chance.
We suddenly spot what we're looking for as a group of monkeys starts appearing out of the thick bush just above a cliff, and it's go time.
Okay, comfortable.
Dead. Well, that's one monkey down. Not a very sturdy shooting position. It all kind of happened quite quickly, but one is better than nothing. So it's a good start to the day. We made a promise to get them, and we got one. But there's a lot more monkeys on this property, so I think we must not hang around here too long. We'll wait a bit and see if they show up and see if we can bag another one, but we won't spend forever here.
After a few minutes, a few more appear out of the bush again, and I'm able to drill one. We eventually moved down the valley and towards more monkey hotspots, knowing that we're likely to encounter more troops on their breakfast run if we keep moving. We spot a group scurrying around in some thick bush and decide that the airgun may be better suited to this sort of close quarters combat. So, time to switch guns. A couple monkeys sit perfectly on a tree stump about 90 meters away, but I just don't hold enough for the wind, and the slug just barely plucks some fur from his cheek. It's an incredibly frustrating moment, as I felt that he was there for the taking, and I really should have known to hold a bit more, but what happens next is an awesome redemption moment. The group re-emerges in a tree 160 meters away, and I don't have time to switch rifles again, so I range, I get my firing solution, and when they pop up and I get a small window, I hold over and let the lead fly.
Oh, got him. So 160 meters. I just held for wind. I can feel the wind coming right to left.
I'm holding over 5 mils here and about half a mil for the wind, and if you look carefully, you can just see the vapor trail as the slug warps the surrounding air on its way to the monkey. The placement is a bit low on the body, but with a 40 grain hollow point opening up right in his engine room, he's out for the count before he even hits the ground, and it's a point on the board for the FX impact. This last shot was taken at a point where the thick bush meets an open field. The The monkeys like to sit in the bush and wait until the coast is clear before launching little raiding missions to the farmhouse, which is just across the field over here. At the farmhouse, they steal chicken eggs, they break into the kitchen, they grab food out of the feeding troughs for the sheep, and just cause absolute havoc. But with the riverbed running along the edge of the bush, there is plenty of space for them to hide, and the only way to get them is to be patient.
Right, we've got monkeys just across the fields there in the trees, so we're gonna find a nice high spot. We've got the 22-50, and I can actually see them jumping down. Let's find a spot to lie prone. Come on, monkeys. Okay, there's one.
The idea here is that striking from a distance will give them a false sense of security. I've got the 22-50 out again, and if they make one wrong move and climb up into the top of a tree, they're going to get blitzed with a high-speed bullet.
The thing with monkeys is, it's not like shooting a squirrel. They're smart animals. They will have seen us from a mile away long before we saw them, and they know that we probably represent danger, so they're probably moving back into the bush and probably remaining low at the base of the bush. We'll never see them if they move like that. The only chance we have is if they actually come and sit in the sun at the top of the trees. But what they might do is move down the riverbed this way and then start walking along those cliffs over there, which they've done in the past. I've got some really good memories of Luke and myself just smashing monkeys off those cliffs. If they reappear somewhere else, we'll just have to rearrange them and take a shot if we need to. While waiting, let's talk a little bit about the Helix 1500 rangefinder. This is a tiny little handheld rangefinder that will range out to 1,500 meters. The big thing about it though is it's got our Element Ballistics software in it. So you essentially create a profile on your phone or on a tablet for your rifle, and then the moment you switch this on, it shows up on the app. You hit connect, you send your profile over. It's literally a 3 to 5 second operation to get a profile loaded in here. And once the profile's loaded on here, you can put your phone away and you've got proper elevation and windage data, a good firing solution being given to you every time you range. So we've set this up for the 22-50, and we keep it in this little carry bag here, which comes with the rangefinder. Nice high quality carry bag. So yeah, if we see monkeys, we'll pull it out, get a nice solid range on them. Like for example, now if they were in this tree, I would range them 305 meters, 0.86 mils. Very straightforward. Dial it in, take the shot, all sorted. Things like this that we didn't have 7 years ago when we started the Oxwagon Diaries have made all the difference.
After a while, it becomes clear that the monkeys are not going to re-emerge, but not wanting to leave the field empty-handed, we switch targets. We had noticed a huge amount of ground squirrel damage on one of the fields, so we decided to bring out the airgun once again and try to get a few down.
While we were waiting for monkeys, we noticed quite a few ground squirrel holes over here. So we've come out and set up with the airgun on a tripod, and hopefully we can get a couple of ground squirrels. Got to make use of the opportunities you get. Okay, there's one. So we have spare mags. This range-finding module is a complete game changer. The only caveat is that you have to bring it back to zero, your turret back to zero when you range, because obviously the rangefinder beam is set up as a point within your field of view. So if you dial up, that reference point kind of changes in relation to your crosshairs. So what I've done here is I've actually kept the turret on zero, and I've just been ranging and then holding for the shot. So very, very easy, and this module so far has given us completely correct ranges, and we've hit everything we've shot at, which is awesome. So very happy with that.
Monkeys are always first prize, but our job is to remove problem animals whenever we can, so the ground squirrels have to go. Another one emerges to inspect his fallen comrade, and I'm able to drop him using the same hold as the previous shot. And you know what they say, when it rains it pours. The whole family has decided to emerge now, and it's like playing whack-a-mole, except I'm whacking with an airgun and the moles are ground squirrels.
Okay, we'll rearrange those. 102. Dead. That was awesome. Got quite a few there in one sequence. Once again, module made it pretty straightforward, just range, hold and shoot. So yeah, glad we actually took the time to come out here onto these fields. We could have just moved on and continued after monkeys, but it's nice to have some variety, nice to get some trigger time with the impact. Monkey hunting is generally a pretty low volume form of hunting. You don't get that much trigger time unless there's really a lot of monkeys, but ground squirrels allows you to get a bit more trigger time. There's generally quite a few of them, and yeah, this field is peppered with holes, so they've obviously been busy here. But let's go pick them up and see the damage, shall we? Well, this was, I think, the first of the last group that I shot at. The ants are already getting to it. This one was, I think he ran a little bit after I shot this one and ended up here. Again, right to the head, so elevation was perfect, and wow, they've really torn up this field here. There's just holes everywhere. Yeah, this one nicked his head, and then yeah, nicked the head and then in through the side here and out the butt, so got him on a number of levels. And then this one, yeah, right there, back of the head, which is where a rodent's brain is. So that's 4 ground squirrels, and I don't even remember, I think there might have been a 5th, but who knows, you lose track. Yeah, you can see where these last 2 landed, just holes everywhere. They've shredded up this ground here. So you wonder why we shoot these cute little ground squirrels? That's why, right there.
That's enough rodents for one day. We want more monkeys. And where there is food, there will be food thieves. We make our way down towards the irrigated lands where we've had plenty of success over the previous few days, and we take our time glassing for naughty grey faces in the bushes. As mentioned earlier, they like to sit in the bushes, waiting until the coast is clear before scurrying out and stuffing their faces with whatever happens to be growing on the fields. So our game plan is very simple. Sit at a distance and wait. This farm grows a large variety of crops, from corn to nuts to lucerne, you name it, and running directly through these fields is a railway. The monkeys use this railway line and the various bridges as a sort of silk road to get from one field to another without having to swim across rivers and walk across roads. As we're moving along one of the farm roads, we spot monkeys emerging from the bushes and making their way along the railway line. And not wanting to draw too much attention to ourselves, we park quite a long distance off and bring out the airgun. And what happens next is awesome.
Dead.
That was so satisfying.
Wow. 135 meters in pretty strong crosswinds, so I had to hold for the wind. We came underneath the railway bridge here and saw a bunch of monkeys. It looked like they were lying on the railway tracks to warm themselves up or something. It was really weird. Anyway, we parked off here. I didn't want to be too close to them. I didn't want to scare them too much. So we pulled off about 135 to 140 meters away. Once again, put the sandbag here on the bull bar. Used the range finding module to get our elevation, which is basically 4 moles. And then we have quite a strong left to right wind. Normally what I do with the module is I send a profile over with a 5 mile per hour crosswind, and then I can get a feel for what the wind is doing. Like right now, this feels like it's maybe 6 or 7 miles per hour. from sort of diagonally behind us, so that would be more or less a 5 mile per hour crosswind. So I held between 0.5 mil and 1 mil for wind, and absolutely smoked that monkey just perfectly. Saw him roll down there. So that is just one of the coolest things I've seen all day. It's definitely fun to explode monkeys with a 22-50, but there's something extra special about taking a shot with an air gun, just hearing that thump as the slug hits a monkey, watching it buckle and watching it fall down. It's art in motion. That's what it is. There he is. So he was all the way up here beneath this tree, clapped him nicely, rolled down, dropped down. Looks like we got him right there in the head or neck, so perfect shot.
Not far from the railway line, there's another unnatural feature that has been a hunting hotspot over the past few years. A giant pile of fallen boulders running the length of this hillside. You may wonder how these formed and what lives here. Well, a few decades ago, the government built a massive network of canals running hundreds of kilometers through the Eastern Cape. I've actually made a video about this on my other channel if you're interested. I'll link it down below, but in order to get the gradient correct, they had to blast away this hillside, and the rubble from the blasting is what creates this wall of rocks that happen to be the perfect habitat for rock hyrax, locally known as dassies. Dassies are a local delicacy in these parts, and we often like to harvest them for the farm workers to eat whenever we're in the area. So let's make that clear. The carnage that you're about to see is not meant to be a challenging hunt. It's the humane harvesting of a wild animal for the purpose of putting food on someone's table.
Goodness me. That's not YouTube friendly. Wow, violent but very effective. Oh, there's another one. There is another one right there. Sheesh, there's a lot of dassies out here. The hardest thing is actually spotting them because they blend in so well. Okay, it's saying down 0.3 mil, so I'll hold the same as I was before. Right there. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. The sound of a 40 grain javelin at 1,020 feet per second just slamming into the forehead of a dassie is, you have to hear it in real life. It's pretty windy out here. In the past we'd come here shooting with pellets and also struggle with the wind and struggle with the incline because there's about 30 to 40 meters, so it's relatively close. I have to hold under 0.3 mils, so you know, if I was holding over or on, I'd probably shoot right over the top of the head. But the module just gives us the information we need. I'm going to take some time to just glass because I know there's more here, we just can't see them. This is insane. Absolutely potent. Potent's the only word I have.
We could have sat here and shot all day, but remember, the goal is not to wipe them out. This is a food source, and like any other resource, they need to be managed. So we leave the rest of the population to breed, and I hike up the rocks to collect what I'd shot.
Yeah, this is our first dassie. Look at that. It's pretty violent, but violent equals effective in many cases, and our goal is to be as humane as possible. So while we take headshots, dassies are actually pretty tough. Shoot them in the body, they might go down a hole, and even if they do die, you might not be able to retrieve them. And yeah, we want to retrieve them because this is meat hunting. We're hunting for food for the farm workers. Dassies can be a pest, like down that way. They do actually cross the road and go and eat from the fields next door. So they do compete with livestock and destroy crops, but by and large we shoot them because they are a food source. So here's the first one. We'll take this one down with us, and the rest are somewhere there. Here's one. Here's another one. That's what a effective headshot looks like right there. There you go, guys. 4 dussies, all perfect headshots. Someone will be eating these tonight.
Back on the prowl for the Grey Menace, and we've decided to head down to the spot where I'd managed to blitz a few monkeys the day before. The farmer had told us that we should be looking in this area, and as we near the fields, I have the airgun ready for action just in case. And what do you know, the monkeys are everywhere.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, that was cool. Yesterday in our little solo adventure when Nicole wasn't feeling so well, we came out here with a 22-50. We parked off just in that field behind me and we blitzed a bunch of monkeys. We kind of thought, okay, you know, let's come back today, maybe we'll get an opportunity, and I made the correct decision to keep the impact with me. The reason I said it was the correct decision is we've just seen a whole bunch of monkeys here sort of in the farming dairy area where all the cows are, which is obviously a sensitive area. You don't want to be discharging firearms here, especially when you don't know exactly what's, you know, behind it. With a centerfire rifle, you've got to consider what's not only a few hundred meters behind, but a few kilometers behind. Whereas the air rifle, you've got a little bit more freedom to not only discharge it in a more sensitive area, but also I know there's bush for at least a kilometer behind me, so I can safely discharge in this direction. And yeah, we just got 3 monkeys. One down on the ground, I ran into the bushes, nailed it, I think in the back of the head. And then there were 2 here that I also absolutely smoked. Oh, well, it's been a good day so far. Started off a bit nervously, but we've managed to get some really good shots on camera. So yeah, let's keep driving, see what else we can get.
I set up the 22-50 at the same spot that I'd blitzed the monkeys from the evening prior, and while there are no monkeys in sight, we do spot another pest species of the feathered variety, and from a stable shooting position, this Egyptian goose stands no chance.
Dead. 362, arranged it with the Helix 1500. It told me, I don't remember what it told me now. It told me 1.2 mils, dialed 1.2 mils. Absolutely middled that goose.
I have to say, it's turned out to be another stunning day once again. Perfect day. No wind right now. The wind picked up a little bit earlier, but it's disappeared. So, perfect day for sending some lead at distance, I guess. And there he is. Jeez, prime specimen of a goose. Beautiful goose.
They say with Egyptian geese that this little mark on its chest is an aiming point. That's pretty true. You want to aim on a bird not too far down. If you aim too far down, you get the breast meat and the breastbone. I guess with a centerfire rifle it doesn't really matter, but yeah, you'll be surprised how tough these birds are. You want to get them above that meat. Their vitals sit sort of higher up on their body, so it doesn't work the same with birds.
The goose will be given to the farm workers along with the dussies, and with a successful outing in the irrigated lands ticked off the list, we begin to make our way back to the wilder hills and valleys of the Witmosskloof Conservancy. As we near a small kraal where some food and water troughs had been laid out for the livestock, we start to see monkeys everywhere, most likely in the process of stealing from the troughs. There are a couple of fence posts here that may make a decent shooting position, so armed with the impact and a sandbag, I head out to look for some troublemakers. This troop is very gun shy and isn't wanting to get anywhere near me, so my chances of actually getting a shot at one of them are pretty low. But I stay alert, and when an opportunity comes from around 90 meters away, I actually end up taking an offhand shot and guessing the holdover. This, in my opinion, is the shot of the day. I couldn't believe I'd actually drilled him. To make it even more satisfying, the slug lands right in the head and switches him off instantly. That's what we want as hunters: humane kills and as little suffering as possible. Funnily enough, it seems that one of them hadn't got the memo about running away, and I catch this monkey in the act, sitting in a trough.
Well, here he is, the water thief. Not a pretty sight, very effective, and geez, this is another big monkey. So we've had a good day for sure. Let's get this away from the cows.
We've got something special in mind to wrap up an awesome week of hunting here at Witmoskloof, and that something is to make our way deep into a secluded part of the mountains and to set up camp for the night in a quiet little valley.
So we finally wrapped up the hunting. It kind of feels good after it's been 4 days now of shooting to just kind of put the guns away and to be able to focus on just enjoying the nature a little bit. So we've come out to a beautiful spot, actually the same spot I hunted Dussies yesterday morning, and we're going to be camping here tonight. So it's nice when your vehicle is also your home. We've got 50-litre water tank, which means when we want to make coffee, like right now, we can just open the tap, get some nice fresh water, and boil some water under the light here and make some coffee. But yeah, it's going to be a good evening, and we're going to make it count.
Well, we're about 15 minutes away from our last sunset here at Witmoskloof. Kind of a weird feeling. The last few days have passed like it's nothing, and now we have to experience our last evening. It feels wrong, but we're gonna make the most of it. Beautiful spot. Got a bit of clouds in the sky today for the first time this week, which is actually nice because it creates a bit of colors in the sky when you have your sunset. After the sun sets, we'll get the fire going and begin our evening. And yeah, we've got full moon, I think, so that should light up these rocks nicely. Maybe we'll get some nice time lapses also. A couple quick reminders. Firstly, we do have merch available, so directly below this video you should see some links. We've got these hats, we've got some coffee mugs, we've got shirts, hoodies, stickers, all that stuff. And then also, if you haven't seen my overlanding/travel channel, which is just stuff like this, camping, exploring, off-roading, go ahead and check that out. I've been putting a bit more effort into that channel lately, and I'm really enjoying making content there, so go be part of the growth. Go check it out. I'll put a link down below to that also. Yo, that's hot. Hey, nah. For dinner tonight, we have some sweet potatoes, which have been
on the coals for a while. And then we've got some lamb and beef sausages. It's probably going to be slightly too much food for us, but who cares? We'll have it for breakfast, so it's the beauty of the braai. So that's where we're gonna wrap up this episode. Lamb and beef sausages, a little braaibroodjie, and a lovely sweet potato done on the fire. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Good night.